very hard for me to integrate. When I've spoken to you on the phone before, you say, it's been great talking to you, but unfortunately I have to get back to the set. And I have this it's like somebody telling me I have to go fight the Battle of Stalingrad. Some terrible, crazy thing is about to happen. And you're like, oh no, I love my work. And it's just, it's very funny to see my own discomfort and prudishness crop up.
It is interesting. It's a very bizarre thing for me, even when I meet people like yourself, and like other types of fans. Because I have these other avenues of attracting personas, I've had very young adolescents come up to me and ask me for photos for my podcast with like Logan Paul. And this is absolutely mind boggling to me. And their parent will take the photo and I'm just like, do they even know? And I don't know if I'm supposed to say.
Well, this is the thing. I think that there's a lot of it that's not personal when it comes to the trepidation. It has to do with, I have no plan for how we are going to negotiate all of the issues that come up. Because in my world, we're all wildly sexually hypocritical, and that's normal. That's the way the civilian world has always been, and presumably it's likely to be that for the foreseeable future. Whereas I see you as this sort of dangerous truth-telling machine, experimenting with things that that are unimaginable. Now, you just went to Burning Man, and Burning Man is a very odd thing. In the Black Rock Desert of Nevada, because for 1 week, somehow the normal rules are suspended. How do you find this sort of, I didn't find it, I went once, I didn't find it incredibly hot. There was a lot of nakedness and there was a lot of play, but it wasn't a wildly erotic experience in my understanding. Did you find it otherwise?
I also agree. I did not find it as a very erotic experience. And it could just be because it feels kind of dirty with all the dust everywhere. To me, just hygienically, I'm not really interested.
It's a very creative place. Like the art is astounding.
Yes, it is a beautiful place. And I think that it's just a place of people to be able to be comfortable in their bodies. And I think that the fact that it's not hyper erotic is also why people are so comfortable with themselves, because they are able to walk around naked and looked at as an art piece rather than looked at as a sexual object.
Yeah.
Whereas
even an erotic art piece that isn't necessarily going to immediately lead to a sense of arousal.
Yes, exactly. They are able in that moment to embrace themselves for who they are, because you'll find young, old, overweight, thin, attractive, unattractive people who are just nude running around, and everyone is just so confident in themselves. And I think it's such a beautiful environment and place for people to really be able to accept themselves. And it's kind of sad that that is the one place that they are able to let their guard down.
It was very interesting. I remember seeing a woman on a bicycle who had very clearly had a radical mastectomy, and she was totally topless. And she aggressively, she was having the time of her life and didn't care. And there was this sort of, cocoon of like acceptance and love that was clearly in the air. I don't think it's an easy thing. Now, Burning Man has this very funny thing that they refer to the civilian world as the default world. And so in the default world, it's very tough to get that kind of radical acceptance.
It is.
Do you find that there's some sort of similarity between that deviation from the civilian world or the default world that is Burning Man and the porn set?
I would say 100%. Like a lot of my friends that I work with, or a lot of my friends, I get them to end up working for me. So I've got some friends who are like mainstream editors, and I somehow managed to get them to start editing my adult videos. And I have one that I ended up taking to Burning Man with me, who had he recently told me how he's had such an epiphany within himself to be able to be so comfortable with his own body and comfortable with other people's bodies by simply editing my videos. He's not on set. He's not partaking in any of the activities or anything like that. But because he's just been editing my videos, he's found that he's able to have a different relationship with nudity and sex and all of these things. Whereas in his regular world, previously to meeting me, he was more, I guess, vanilla or follow the standards of these civilian type people, where it was like, no nudity. You will never see him naked unless you are his girlfriend or partner at the time. And now he's in a totally different place where he said himself, he's like, by the end of Burning Man, I will be walking around naked too. And I think it's like this ability within himself where he's gotten to be able to put himself in the perspective, in the shoes of us on set. He sees the delay of when before cameras cut. He sees, like, you know, they start action and there's moments of us getting comfortable with each other. There's moments of us cutting and just kind of like being natural in ourselves. We're like taking a water break and everything like that.
Got it.
And I think that there are elements that definitely have helped people grow within themselves and be able to accept themselves as their just natural human self.